Good evening, YouTube, or good morning, YouTube. This is Tired Metalhead Weatherman. Got a little bit to talk about here. Mainly just gonna cover some stuff for the severe weather threat over the next couple of days and what's going on with Agatha currently. I'm not sure if I'll have the time to make a video tomorrow, and I did kind of hint towards maybe dropping the video tonight. So I'd at least try to keep the content. I at least want to try to keep the content going on this channel. I know we're getting close to 100 videos on here, which is absolutely insane. This is going to be video 85 tonight, which is absolutely bonkers. Proud of it, though. Proud of the hustle. But let's keep it going, shall we? So we've had a pretty active day of severe weather so far, but things look like they are starting to diminish from the looks of it. New mezzo discussion here. It might be to cancel this last little tornado watch. And maybe, just maybe. Okay, it's a replacement severe thunderstorm watch, so that's good. At least the tornado threat's starting to diminish. Eventually, the entire severe weather threat will start to diminish for the evening and into the late night hours, which is good. When we look at the reports, there isn't a lot, actually, as far as tornadoes are concerned. Only 5 so far. There could be a few more added to that, but let's hope it stays low. So far, no reports of injuries or fatalities from what I've seen. And the other thing is, a fair amount of these reports are over rural areas and reported by storm chasers, which is a really good thing. Wind reports, however, have been pretty active. We're sitting at 153 right now, including 2 significant reports so far, and we have 49 hail reports and 2 significant ones so far. So we're sitting at a grand total of 207 severe weather reports today. Still pretty active, but considering the potential that system had, I'm kind of glad I feel like we could have had way more. Let's just hope things stay that way. But since this threat's just about over, we're going to actually go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's threat and Wednesday's threat. So we got a day 2, soon to be day 1, enhanced risk, mainly around the southern and central plains. So we're including southeastern Kansas, good part of central Oklahoma, and the panhandle of Texas. We got cities like Lubbock and Woodward and Wichita involved in the enhanced risk. The slight risk, we got Tulsa and Lubbock in play, Amarillo as well, Kansas City. And then we look back to areas to the north. We got Hannibal, Illinois, Springfield, Peoria, Chicago. We got that in play. We got the southeastern corner of Wisconsin involved. We got Milwaukee, and then in Michigan we got Detroit even involved. Then we have a little sliver of pretty actually big sliver of Indiana as well. Have to watch that. But also we have a slight risk, well not slight, but marginal risk around southern half of Florida. We got pretty much anywhere south of Jacksonville all the way towards Miami in play for some potential pulse severe storms. Look at the tornado threat. There are a couple areas where we got 5% going, mainly around the panhandle of Texas, and then mostly around Illinois almost entirely. We have a 5%. And then the areas in the green are the 2% chance. This covers states like it covers areas like Missouri, includes Kansas City, by the way. 2% is also in play for Chicago and Detroit even, and Milwaukee. And then the 2% in the southern end is just for mostly rural areas. Still need to be careful. And then the wind is highlighted in our 15% area in the yellow and our 5% in the brown. And then our hail threat is pretty much the same. We also have a 30% with a hatched risk, which is outlining a significant hail threat, mostly around the southern and central plains for the areas I mentioned earlier. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that, and hopefully things don't get too out of hand. Look at day 3, and we get 2 slight risk areas so far. We'll have to keep an eye and see if anything upticks or downticks. We'll know for sure by either early morning tomorrow or late evening. But once again, Southern Plains are in play. This time we have Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Norman, and Lubbock, Fort Sill as well. Guys are in the southern slight risk, and then in the northern one, we have Great Lakes that are hugging the border between the U.S. and Canada, mainly around Lake Erie. We have Watertown, New York, Rochester, Buffalo as well. Binghamton, you guys are in play for some severe weather, and then even into Ohio as well. We have a chance for some storms. We got Cleveland and Columbus in play. Pittsburgh, you're in that slight risk just a little bit too, so we'll have to watch you as well in Pennsylvania. And then we have a marginal risk that extends from the Texas-Mexico border all the way to just about almost into New Hampshire and Vermont. So we'll have to watch that. Let's get a look at the low-level jet here, just to get an idea of what could be going on in the next couple of days. Like I said, tornado threat isn't that impressive. Today was far more impressive of a threat, and we didn't get overwhelming numbers, which is a good thing. So hopefully this trend will remain. But we do get a little bit of an uptick with a low-level jet in the overnight hours, but I do think that our tornado threat is just about over at this point. We look on Tuesday, and I do see a little bit of a jet streak that tries to develop in the early part of the day, and then into the evening hours it builds back up. Nothing impressive though. I'm more interested honestly in this threat more to the north, especially towards Illinois. Marginal tornado threat. Not the most impressive hordeograph, not the most impressive really anything. Capes aren't very high. We're sitting at about 1,000. There are some matches with a weak supercell, but it's nothing impressive. The low-level shear, there is some directional shear, but not very much. There's a decent lapse rate, nothing impressive. Far cry from what we were looking at earlier today on the hordeographs. And now we'll move this forward on to Wednesday, and that's as far as we can go. We do see a little bit of something try to pop up late Wednesday afternoon around the northeast. Be interesting to see what that leads to, but I'm thinking it won't be very much. Tornado potential around here is pretty limited from what I've seen. Still rolling this forward, and we're at the end of our model run here. Let's get a look at the reflectivity, and then the last thing we're going to talk about is Agatha. Because Agatha I do want to confirm today that Agatha made landfall at 4 p.m. Central Time in Puerto Angel, Mexico. And we'll go into that in just a moment. Here's what the radar is looking like pretty much at the moment. Severe weather threat is dying down for the evening. There's a little bit of storms that could pop up around Iowa and parts of Kansas and a small little sliver of Nebraska here. Hangs around into the morning hours and then starts to dissipate. Try to get some snow wrapping around on the backside that hangs around in Wyoming, which is kind of crazy. Some forms up in Colorado, and then late into the evening hours tomorrow, that's when we get a little bit of activity around the southern plains, and then in Indiana towards the evening and overnight hours you might get a few storms that pop up. Very messy look, but we'll have to watch that real close because it has that look where you could maybe get a pop-up supercell that could do something pretty intense, do some pretty intense damage, but we'll see what ends up happening there. We look on Wednesday, and our line of storms, we get a little line of storms that tries to pop up, or actually two. The second line of storms, I think, is not going to have much steam on it. I'll have to watch more towards the south for any sort of severe threat, any sort of tornadic activity, I think. I think for the north, we're looking at more of a linear type event. Tornadoes still can't be ruled out as a result, though. Because, I mean, that upper level low is in that exact spot where you wouldn't want it. You want that upper level low right here, and then right on the southeastern flanks up it and right behind it, that's where that front is, and that's often where we can get a good little bit of turning of the winds with height, and we all know what that leads to. So now we've gone over that. The last thing that we will be talking about on this video tonight, and a new update just came in. Agatha is now dropped below hurricane strength. We are looking at a tropical storm now. And this update was as of, actually, I think this was a brand new update. Probably just came in a few minutes ago. There we go, yep. In fact, 2 minutes ago, so I picked the perfect time to put up this video. But as of 10 p.m. Central Time, we are now looking at a tropical storm here, no longer a hurricane. We're sitting at 70 miles per hour, central pressure at 990 millibars, moving at 8 knots, or 8 miles an hour, 7 knots. So this thing's been on land for a while. It made landfall about 7 hours ago, I would say. 6 or 7 hours ago to be exact. I'm not sure. But it made landfall as a category 2 with 105 mile per hour winds at landfall. Main threat now becomes more of a inland flooding and heavy rain threat. Also, there's still some pretty strong winds associated with this thing. The wind field should probably be starting to expand. In fact, we will try to get a good look at that right now. So, as we look at, as we get a good look at this, that's pretty much useless. Actually, I clicked the wrong thing, I think. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I just clicked the wrong thing. Okay. Yeah, the tropical storm wind field's gotten a bit bigger now. I'm trying to look at some of the impacts for anyone that might end up watching this from Mexico, but I'm not really getting any good data here. I'm new to looking at stuff for hurricanes in particular, so if I don't have it for today, I'm sorry. But basically, I'm expecting the track to remain as follows. It's going to work its way northwest and try to get back out into the Gulf. Won't be much of it left. It's moving so slowly to where I just don't see how it stays completely organized. But with the favorable conditions around the Gulf, I do expect this to get its act back together over the Gulf and eventually become Alex, because we've had that possibility looming for a while over the last few days. So now of course, once again, nothing in the next 48 hours, but we keep getting increasing confidence. Earlier today, this was at 40%. Now it's gone up to 50%. So we'll have to watch that. So I'm telling you, we got to keep watching this. It's a medium. This is pretty much a 50-50 chance this thing pops up and turns into our next tropical system. And if it reaches tropical storm strength, it will be named Alex. It will go from Agatha to Alex. Could make a dirty sex change joke, but I'm not going to do that. If you really want to do that, do so in the comments. It would be very entertaining to me, if anything. However, that does not mean I'm making fun of anyone that has any sort of sex change. You're fine just the way you are. But gonna have to keep an eye on this regardless of any jokes. All jokes aside, this has to be watched carefully, and really we might need to be having western and southern Florida watching over this. There has been talk of a few models maybe putting this into your area. But that's pretty much it. That's all I got for you guys tonight. I will be going to bed shortly. I'll see if I have time to put up another video tomorrow. It'll probably be a long range forecast video, but if not, then I will see you on the next one. This has been Tired Metalhead Weatherman. You guys have a good night.